Dr. Sastri was born to PM Sundaresh Sastri and Rukmini Ammal, my grandparents. He's one of the 6 children. There were 2 brothers and 4 sisters. And his older brother was Pranatarthi Haran, my father. And he has 4 sisters, of which one of them recently passed away. My father passed away in 2015, and she passed away recently this year. She was 95 years old. And his parents passed away sometime in 94. His father passed away in 94. His mother passed away in 98. So he was born in Chidambaram and grew up in Chidambaram. Did his BSc from Annamala University. From there he went on to get his Bachelor of Technology from Indian Institute of Science in Metallurgy. And then he came to the US. He actually came to the US in 1964 when I was 2 years old. That's a very funny story. I don't know whether he didn't get a flight or he didn't have the money to buy a flight. It seems he flew up to Italy. From there he traveled by ship, which was more cheaper. That's all the money he had. And so he came here. He did his master's in Columbia and PhD in Columbia. And from then on, he went on to teaching. Our family is full of teachers. My father was a teacher. My sister is a teacher. His sister's children are teachers. So we all have teachers. So he took up on the teaching profession. And as you know, Diane was telling his colleague that they were together throughout. He finally retired as the dean of the City College, engineering. So he had a wonderful life. All throughout his life, he'd been more spiritually inclined. And he had a passion, and this passion was for cows. So I don't know how this passion really got created in him, but he was very passionate about having cows. In fact, he was talking with my father to open one in India too, quite some time ago. My father was not, he could not make it, because he was not physically well, so he could not do it. So he said he was going to do one here. When my parents, his brother and his sister-in-law came to the US in 2000, that is the time he bought a place in Bangalore. At that time we were all here, and we came here to see the place before he took the lease, and he bought the land, and he wanted to do, and he had 2 cows. My parents were here at the time. That's where he started, and this passion grew into a huge thing, and he devoted his life throughout. He came here to Bangalore, and then he came to Stroudsburg, and that's where he created a huge movement in cow protection, Goshala. Of course, with a lot of help from Mani Mama and many other supporters, who were all there to help him out. But he really created a huge movement. In fact, people were actually making comments about him. Oh my God, you have 1,500 pound of food, and you say that you're going to protect it? That's how people were making fun of him. I know that. I've seen that. In fact, a news channel also showed that. They came up saying that, see this man, he's saying this, look, he wants to protect cows. They were not really in praise. It was all in the beginning. Now people have seen the reason for doing that. All he wanted to create was protect cows, because cows are holy for us. And just not only protecting cows, protect all animals. Because every animal has a purpose, reason to live. Because he used to always say, we all have come through all these process stages in life. If in Shiva Purana it says that this is how you came. You came from grass, pullagi, pudagi, pulvagi, maramagi. It goes like that. You become a stone, you become a tree, you become a worm, you become so on, you move everywhere. And finally, you become a human being. So all the animals here are eventually coming back into human life by their karma. And that's what he was teaching. I would like to say one small instance in what he really thought of his work. love, compassion. But I think it was a little more than that. Once what happened was when he had this sanctuary in Bangalore, there were at that time he had about 15 or 16 cows. And they were not listening to him. They were going all the way, they were going to the neighbor's property, and the neighbor was actually getting upset and he was complaining that you don't keep your cows with you, don't bring them here. At one time when he saw that, he was so upset and he was angry, and then he started yelling at them. He said, "What the hell do you mean? What do you think, people? You cannot go anywhere you want, you got to stay here." He got angry and got into his car and went away to do some work, and he came back after 2 years. He couldn't see any cow. They were all gone. And he was searching for them, he got scared, and finally he goes out. They were in a small place, they were beyond his property. All of them together clustered, they were all standing there. They were outside the property. They heard him. They felt bad because he yelled at them. They were gone. Then he had to go and beg them. "Sorry, please, I'm sorry, I will never yell at you again."
And he yelled in Tamil.
I'm sorry?
He would yell in Tamil.
Yes, he would yell in Tamil. That's
And I
also
know
correct.
that word, po.
Yes, that's correct. So he begged forgiveness. "I will never yell at you. Please come." He fell at their feet, and then he got them back. They all came back after that. Until he said those words, they were never moving. Imagine this story. It's such a beautiful story. It's not something that we hear in mythology. It is in our time. And his cows have such great responses. They see us, they feel us. So
Actually, when it was very small setup, it was very enjoyable the time. It was like a cow-to-cow relationship we
yes,
had.
but he had the same relationship even here.
Yeah,
Like
he had.
someone was saying,
not
"Oh,
us.
he would call Bharati,
Yeah.
Nandi, what are you doing? Come, Vedanta. You should not be looking everywhere. You were given to me by the Swami Dayananda." So he was like that. But so what he told me at the time was, when he said this, we were having a conversation. I was telling him, you should really control them. You can't just let them loose like this. You know what he said? He said, "Sorry, they are the bosses here. I'm their servant. I cannot control my boss. All these people are my bosses. I am the servant. And my life here is only to serve them, and nothing more than that." We all hear of being a servant, especially in the Dvaita philosophy of Madhva, where bhakti alone is important, service alone is important. Servitude is the only most thing that's going to liberate you from life. And we have some good examples like Hanuman, Nandi. These are all great examples of that. But I've seen this in this man, my uncle, that his complete dedication was only to service to cows. And I'm so happy that you're all here. We probably should have had something like this done when he was alive. But it's happened. May all the divine forces come and protect him and take him. Of course, all the Gomatas are not going to leave him. They're all going to protect him. And we only have to fall at his feet, ask for his blessings, and we will continue his legacy. I thank you all for being here in support. So nice to see so many people have come here to show their last respects to my uncle. Thank you very much. The next session is going to be, we're going to do the Antyakriya. The priest Ganeshan has come from Asharya Gurukula. I have to change over to my traditional clothing, and we will do that here. We were supposed to have the cremation this afternoon, but unfortunately cremation is not happening today because one of the units failing in the crematorium, so they've rescheduled this to tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. So after the rituals, we're going to take him to the cow sanctuary, where his heart still lives. Will probably live forever. Once let us take his body. It probably doesn't mean anything because it's only a body now. He still lives there. But as a form of respect, we are taking his body there to the ashram in a cow sanctuary and then bring him back, and he'll be here tomorrow morning is the cremation. Thank you for all your support. Namaste. This thing was